everybody, it's your girl Connie Kenneth, and welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, welcome. If you have been supporting me for the longest, thank you so much. And yeah, please guys, make sure you hit that subscribe button because this is the best reaction channel. So today I'm back with a new reaction from Wabosha Maxine, a beautiful Kenyan young lady. And so she's going to interview John-Allan Namu, so a letter to my younger self. And so this is a very interesting video, and I think there is a series, and you have to go and check them out on her website if you want to know and follow up on the discussion. So you will have the link below. So kindly let's listen to this one. And I guess Wabosha is in her 20s, and so she would like to learn from other people, and I think that's a great idea because she will she will just prevent herself from making stupid mistakes or young mistakes. But yeah, so it's a great idea, so I love it. So let's get straight to this video.
I just turned 25, and to help me determine what I want for the next 10 years of my life,
She looks so young at 25.
I just turned 25, and
Look at her, she's lovely. She looks so good.
to help me determine what I want for the next 10 years of my life, I asked a few people who I admire to write letters to their younger selves to learn
Oh yeah, I think the first one I listened to was with Ivy. So if you don't know who Ivy is, let me
10 years of my life. I asked a few people who
Ivy is the lady on the right, okay, so with a bluish purple top or feet. And so my goodness, that one was deep, very deep. So if you haven't watched it, please go back and watch that one. So because it was a fantastic podcast. So it's not in the video form, but it's a podcast. But please go to Wabosha's channel and watch that one.
I admire to write letters to their younger selves to learn from them. This is how that went. Hey guys, and welcome to A Letter to My Younger Self, a podcast that encourages you to work hard, have good intentions, and most importantly, to trust the process. Now, I'm not sure how these episodes are going to roll out, but by now I have read quite a few letters. And one thing that
She has such a baby face. She's so cute. You just want to hug her and reassure her, but she's a boss lady, so she doesn't need any of that. I believe she is. So yeah, so it's great.
I've noted is a lot of people concentrate on like their careers, which I mean is understandable because we're really a generation that is obsessed with securing the bag. Now today's guest is an award-winning journalist. His name is John-Allan Namu. And being an award-winning journalist, I personally expected him to really concentrate on his career and take us through, being an award-winning journalist. But he went through a different route that I personally quite enjoyed. So today we're going to be hearing about John-Allan's personal life and decisions and choices that he made along his journey to get to where he is today. Welcome, John.
Thank you. I didn't know that you enjoyed the letter. I didn't know that you guys were focusing on that.
I did. But the one thing is that the first thing when I got the letter, I read it like 3 times or 4 before I could analyze it and understand it. So I'm just curious to know, is this how you speak to yourself? What? In parables and puzzles, when you're talking to yourself in your head?
Well, yes. I many times when I try and express myself, like an expression, like a saying that helps me sort of make sense of what I'm trying to say or pop into my head. Maybe one will come in the course of this conversation, but it's not at the like I have Chinua Achebe in my head.
Yeah, but it makes sense. It makes sense. When you're a journalist and an award-winning journalist, of course you have so much culture in you. You know how to express yourself without saying anything, but also express yourself in words that someone has to dig deep into them so they can get the sense of it, get to the bottom of the point. So I'm not surprised. I'm not surprised with the parables and the proverbs, and yeah, it's probably cliche, all right, but I feel that if you're an award-winning journalist, and you know how to handle the pen and all the thoughts that are flowing in your head. So yeah, I'm not surprised.
I guess it's just a way of trying to explain things to myself and to other people. That just makes it easier. So that's why it was difficult. You're like, it's like a composition.
I was like, wow,
Right.
wow. You know how they used to ask, the curtains are blue. Explain why the writer said the curtains are blue. In my head, I'm like, the curtains are just blue. Why is there a reason the curtains are blue? So yeah, exactly like that. So you can go ahead and read the letter to us. I have so many questions to ask.
So I'm reading the entire letter?
Yes, please.
Oh, this is going to be a very interesting one. Very interesting.
Okay. It's 2007. You're now 24. This is a big year for you. No longer the intern at the office. You have paid a few of your dues at work, and now you're more or less ready for bigger things.
Yeah, so just one question before we continue. I've been asking myself this question. So does Wabosha ask her guests to write the letter before they come see her, or do the guests did they really write those letters when they were in their 20s, you know? So I would love to know. I would really like to know, because it's a fantastic idea.
You won't see it, but the confluence of your coming of age as a young reporter and the events you'll witness aren't just coincidence. God planned it that way. But you're young, so you overestimate just how much you have to do with and where you are at that point. That's a mistake you don't need to make. Living on your own now, you don't need to go to church. Mom isn't there to tell you to do so.
Yeah, you know, those pressures that you get, like, yeah, you're with your folks, you have to go to church, you have to do this, you have to do that, you have to do that. Once you move out, then you don't have to do those things, you know, and you have to start hiding. You'd have to stop hiding, and now you can live your life to the fullest, you know. So yeah, I get that.
The freedom, this freedom means that you can have work during the day and drinks and a wild night after. Interestingly, all the freedoms you yearn for are exactly the ones that you must be temperate with now. Work will keep you out of harm's way for the most part, thank God. But again,
that sentence is very important. Work will put you out of harm's way. And I'm telling you, it's so true, because an empty mind is the devil's workshop. And that I learned that expression when I was back in high school, I guess, but it is so true. An empty mind will cause you problems, but when you're working, when you're surrounded by good people, by motivated people, hardworking people, ambitious people, then of course you want to become like them. But if you're surrounded by people who just spend the days out drinking and not drinking, but when I mean drinking, it's okay to go out, but I mean just drinking crazy and, you know, and sleeping in the digs and stuff like that, you can go for a glass of wine and talk business with your friends or with your associates. That's okay, but it has to be done in an intelligent way. So yeah, I understand when you say that, you know, work kept you away from all the evil things in this world.
that is you thinking that you have more to do with you not keeping the company that your freedom would allow you to. I can get why you were talking about that's a sentence and a half. I don't know. Yeah. I thought about it differently in my head. I hope you're getting the picture now. Everything that has fallen into place has more to do with the path you are destined to take over the next few years than your efforts in deliberately choosing to be on that path. So this letter isn't about the quickest way up the rung. It's about being intentional. Read this letter carefully. 37-year-old you is given to analogies and parables, but you're good at reading between the lines, so I know you'll get it. Do I keep going?
Yeah.
Okay. The thing about being 24 is that you now feel a sense of completeness that you hadn't before. School is done, work's going fine, and your relationship is flourishing. No time to pay attention to those untended corners of your life. Big moves need to be made, right? The unction you feel to succeed is important. It'll drive you to do things you never thought you could.
Oh, wow.
But it is more than okay to take a step back and examine the entire picture that you're painting.
Right. That's very important. You can paint blindly, and because you have a certain idea of what you want, but you need to step back and look at the painting, look at the colors, are they okay? And when it's symbolic, but I mean, look at your life, examine your life, and areas in your life that are doing great, and others that where you can repaint them, or evaluate, or change some things so you can become a better person, because life is constant growth. If you are in the same place that you were 10 years ago, then there is a problem. It means you're not stepping back, and you're not evaluating yourself as a person, and your ambitions, and so on and so forth. So that was beautiful. That was a beautiful one. I love that image. Symbol, fantastic.
Better yet, think of yourself as a brand new jigsaw puzzle whose pieces are sealed inside a box.
Right.
On the box, what people see is a picture of a complete jigsaw puzzle.
Uh-huh.
The better looking, the more intricate it is, the more interesting it is for people to look at. The more interesting it is to people looking at this box. Don't be one of those people examining yourself as complete. What you're seeing is a picture of what you think you can become. You haven't yet opened the box. When you do, you'll find hundreds of pieces.
Wow.
The ones that connect to work will be the brightest, biggest, and easiest pieces to fit together. So the temptation is to start fitting them together first. They will all connect, so then you feel a sense of achievement, of progress. What you should be doing is, rather than going for the big pieces of the puzzle, spread every piece out in front of you. Take your time to examine each piece.
Right.
Try to figure out what parts generally go together. Work, the dunda, even your relationship can wait. Your face, for instance, will be in the shape of those complex-looking pieces that seem not to fit into anything. But when not put together, will leave a huge hole in the jigsaw. I just have to say, there's a huge amount of jigsaw analogies here that I just need to explain.
Okay.
I was writing this letter at a time when I was thinking of a present for one of my kids, and jigsaw puzzles were that.
How old is the child?
Child or children?
Oh,
The one who was getting the puzzle.
He was. So I wrote this. Mid last year.
Yeah.
Yeah. So he was turning 11. He was turning 11, and it was a big birthday for him because that's the year that we decided with my wife that we're going to be like giving the talk, about various things that you're going to expect when going out. So we went out to Naivasha. We had a good time, and I guess we were thinking about this entire thing. I wound up not giving him a jigsaw puzzle.
Oh, wow.
So all of this is just wasted. But anyway, pole sana.
Yeah, but that's fantastic. But which is very true. Like, you need to, before you start putting the parts together, you need to examine that exactly how it goes. Because if you starting with, I don't know, the middle part, or the frame, so it becomes complicated to finish it. But when you sit down, evaluate, put the pieces that go together just to be organized, then it becomes easier for you to complete the jigsaw puzzle. So that makes sense completely. And also, it's just like the same thing when you have what do you call it? When you have pebbles and then you have sand. So will you put, and then you have a glass. Okay, so are you going to put the sand first in the glass, or are you going to put the pebbles first? And everything has to fit in. Let's have a discussion below. You have stones, okay, or pebbles, and then you have sand, and then you have to fit everything in that glass. And for you to do that, there must be an order. So let me know how you're going to do it, okay?
Wabosha. All right. Now where was I?
Jigsaw puzzle.
Yes.
Jigsaw.
Before we continue, I'd like to say a big thank you for all the support that you have shown myself and this podcast so far. If you'd like to support this podcast even more, you can do so by purchasing one of your favorite A Letter to My Younger Self merch. We have journals, and these journals have quotes as well as thought-provoking questions that will be able to guide you in your own personal journey. We also have mugs that look like this. We also have bags, webcam covers, and a lot more. What I will do is I will leave a link down below in the description box where you can go and check this out for yourselves. Now,
wow, she's a boss lady, and that's fantastic. Good job, Wabosha. And I know that I discovered Wabosha in a very strange way. Someone approached me on Facebook and was like, "I'm Wabosha," and he was trying to do business with me. I'm like, "This," and then I think after a few message exchange, like, that's very strange. And so I contacted Wabosha's direction management team, and this appeared to be a fake person. So be careful. Be very, very careful out there when people come up to you on social media claiming. Some of them are just there to get some money from you and to con you. So yeah, I'm happy I wasn't.
Now back to the podcast.
All right. Work, the dunda, even your relationship can wait. Your face, for instance, will be in the shape of those complex-looking pieces that seem not to fit into anything, but when not put together will leave a huge hole in a jigsaw. Those parts take time to understand.
Right.
I meant to say, those parts take time. Understand those pieces.
Okay, yeah.
Their shapes, edges, and nooks are difficult to decipher. Take your time with those. Ask for help if you can't figure them out on your own. Do not ignore these pieces, because they don't just fall into one place once everything else fits.
Right.
It's actually the other way around. I can almost forgive you for believing that you can ignore this part of your life. I only just rediscovered these pieces. Make sure that they fit together right side up, even if it takes you a while. It'll be worth it. It'll certainly make things a hell of a lot easier for me.
Right. Oh, that's wonderful. I love this letter. I love it. I love it for different reasons. The fact that if we could go back and talk to, and just try and design our lives that would help us in our 30s, in our 40s, 50s, and so on, it would be so good, to just look back and like, thank you to my younger self. And also an important point is when we try and do everything all by ourselves, then it can be good, especially if you don't have like a support system. And when I talk about a support system, I'm talking about we're there to lift you, to motivate you, and to build you. If you don't have that kind of a system, I understand you can go on your own, and then you will meet people who think like you, who have the same ambitions as you do, and so on. But it's good to talk about it, but to the right people, so they don't bring you down. So it's a fantastic letter. I love it.
Then there are your values. Also worth taking time to understand. That freedom I had mentioned is important here. Use the freedom to truly show who you are. No one is looking, so now is the time to truthfully ask yourself, why is it that you want to party? To hang out with your very cool friends and be at the best parties, to be about that life. The hype tells you that you're young and this is what you're supposed to be doing now,
Right.
but do everything in moderation. Those Sunday drives on your own, away from your housemates that you derive so much pleasure from, are trying to tell you something. Learn to be with yourself, interested in listening to what your heart and your conscience whisper to you in these moments of solitude.
Oh my goodness.
Don't drown your thoughts out with the noise that a young bachelor's life brings. Learn how to tune out the noise and hone into your own thoughts about yourself. What do you stand for? What's your story? Are you the man your parents raised? The friendships you will make now will remain for a while longer. These are also pieces of your puzzle. The pieces that you need are very few, but you think that there must be more than one. There must be more than the ones you have identified. Your friends are a reflection of you, so choose how these pieces fit into the bigger story.
Wow. That is very true. You know, we are the average of the 5 people we hang around. So if you hang around with party animals, you will become a party animal. If you hang around with someone who is ambitious, who is working on their career, who practice self-love, personal development, then you become like them because we're humans, so we want to do things that we know we want to fit in a way. So it's okay if you don't fit in any of those party animals. It's okay to go out and take care of yourself. Go for that morning walk, go to the swimming pool or go to the cinema alone. Go and buy yourself a book and spend time on your own. Meditate. Stay in the calm, no phone, just in a silent place. And I'm telling you, that's very important because in the society we are in right now, we always like running up and about, and then we tend to forget ourselves. And when we wake up, then sometimes it's too late, or sometimes we wasted so much time, along the way. So I love it. I love it.
Story. Your friendships will connect to your romantic relationships. Make sure that they feed into that picture in a way that works for who you're trying to become. 2 years from now, you'll become a father.
Ooh.
Now, when I was 24, I had absolutely no idea. So it's weird that I wrote that down because, my life was so different.
Okay, so Alan, you wrote this letter when you were actually 24. So Wabosha didn't ask you to write this letter. You actually wrote it way before you even knew you were going to participate in this show. Wow.
At 24 than it was at 25 and 26. These pieces connect inextricably to your romantic life.
Wow.
Do not be afraid to take your time and be more decisive about who you choose to love.
Exactly. I'm telling you, the power of the tongue, the power of speaking into existence is crazy. Because for some reason, personally, I always say that I will have my first child when I was 25. 25. At 25, I was expecting my son was born when I was 26. The power of the tongue, the power of speaking into existence, do not take it for granted. Be it good or bad, whatever you wish upon yourselves comes to be. Be it good, be it bad. The choice is yours. The choice is yours.
The answer is closer than you think, but it's obscured by your own thoughts about what the puzzle is supposed to look like. Do this without care, and you'll have to rip up huge parts of the puzzle. Completely needless if you act with more than the intention in your pants. Temperance means that even if you have a hammer, you don't always need to use it.
Right.
Is that an expression that's easier to decipher?
Definitely is.
Right.
Don't be blinkered by what you saw on the cover of the puzzle box. That's just a picture. This is just your idea of what you think you should be, separate from who you actually are. Looking for the approval of others distracts you from focusing on yourself. You don't need to contort yourself into the image and likeness of those who have succeeded before you. Learn lessons from them, for sure. But remember that these lessons need to be adapted to the life you have always wanted to lead. You know what that is.
Right. Not everybody can fit in the same shoe. Everybody's story is different. Where I am today, you cannot compare my life to where I am today to your life, and you started yesterday. And so that's the thing, and that's why I think this whole show is fantastic. If Wabosha learns from all her guests, she's going to save herself from so much trouble. She's going to save so many years, and she's not going to repeat the same mistakes, but it has to be adapted to her life, her context, her situation, and so on and so forth. So I agree, John-Allan. I agree 100%. 100%.
so I don't need to remind you. Your life, especially your romantic life, need not be what people expect it to be. There's more joy in following your heart to the person that it leads you to than you will ever know.
Okay.
I'm not worried about this part though. Eventually, you do get the girl of your dreams.
Right.
Find the time to be with your family. Do not take for granted that because you grew up with them, they will always be the people that live in your memories. Every one of the members of your family has a journey that they are on. Check in with them. Walk with them. Cultivating that habit will serve you when you get a family of your own. You are so much more than your career. Your own story is important.
Yeah, so let me just go back to what you said about family. That's very important. You know, something that we need to break this curse where probably your parents never really looked after their parents or even never really cared about their brothers and sisters and never there are no family gatherings and with the brothers, sisters, cousins, whatever the case may be. But you can stop that, and because our children actually observe us, our children actually think that okay, it's normal. You don't see your brothers, you don't go and see your parents, you don't talk to your parents, then to them it becomes a normal thing. And so they will do the same with you. Only that you will not understand why they're doing that to you. Little do you know that the way you behave, your children actually copy that. And so it's a vicious circle. So we need to be there for each other, but then it gets to a point if it's just one-sided, it becomes extremely difficult, so I think we should all learn from from our mistakes and try and put family first and cultivate that because it will serve us in the future. So I agree 100%.
Don't let the world tell you that because your experiences are not those you have that haven't been written about, they are not worth repeating. At the very least, your story is the nucleus of the legacy you wish to leave when you pass away from this world. Cherish every single step that you have taken.
Right.
Feel all of the pain that you have hidden so well. Don't be so long-suffering, especially when people use your kindness and compassion to their advantage. You speak so loudly for others. Learn to speak up for yourself. It may make you unpopular in the moment.
Oh my goodness, just listen to that again.
Learn to speak up for yourself. It may make you unpopular in the moment, but at least people will know where you stand. Some of the things you are reading here, you already know. Have the courage to go beyond the bowlines of knowledge alone. Act on what you know. Live your life unencumbered by fear. I'll be here waiting for you.
Oh, yeah, because all the beautiful things are on the other side of fear. Yeah. And yeah, you should be in a position to speak up for yourself, stand for yourself, believe in yourself, and don't let fear paralyze you and stop you from moving forward. So it's fantastic. Wow.
You can catch all the other episodes by visiting the website listed in the description bar.
Oh, wow. So that's a very fantastic podcast. I loved it, loved it, loved it. And this letter was just deep. It was so strong. I would have probably used different words, but the thought, everything he said, I agree with 100%. Yeah, I loved it. I loved it. So I hope you enjoyed my reaction. And please go back and check the description below if you want to check out Wabosha. And yeah, I hope that you will tell me. Let's have a discussion below. What are the things you would have said to your younger self? So yeah, let's talk about it. So it's your girl Connie, and until next time, don't forget to subscribe. Tell a friend, tell a friend, tell another friend. So see you next time, and bye.